Let's talk about market strength and market weakness. Now, what exactly is market strength and market weakness? Well, market strength is when the balance of supply and demand is tilted upward, and weakness is when the balance of supply and demand is tilted downwards. And that's important to our trading because we only want to enter long or be in the market long when the balance of supply and demand is tilted up, and we only want to be short when the balance of supply and demand is tilted downward. But now, how do we determine which way the balance is tilted towards, up or down? And we do that by using the price spread volume. See the bar movement alone by itself can tell you something about strength or weakness, but it's the movement of the bar in relation to the volume which occurred in that bar. So the relationship between the two, the price and the volume, is the price volume spread. And how that price volume spread plays out tells you at the end of a particular bar of whichever time frame you're trading, tells you if the market is strong or weak, if the balance of supply demand is tilted up or down. Now, using our price volume spread, there are three types of strong bars and three types of weak bars that we need to have an understanding of. And that's really only three bars that you have to know about, because the three weak bars, they're just really inverse of the three strong bars. So it'll be the same concept, just going backwards. So, but anyway, we're going to start off talking about the strong bars, the three types of strong bars. And when you see these bars along with the price volume spread, when you see these bars, you will know that the market is displaying strength. And it also depends on, it's relative to where price is in the support and resistance framework. But for the basics for right now, there are three bars that will tell us that the market is strong. So we're going to begin by talking about the three strong bars that you need to be aware of. And they are the reverse thrust bar, the reverse thrust bar, the continuation bar, and the 50% bar. The reverse thrust bar, when price is falling down, you will have a bar that makes a higher close after making a lower low. For instance, number 1 on the chart here are all reverse thrust bars. You see they closed higher after making a lower low than the previous bar. This low is down here, this low is up here, so we made a lower low and a higher high. Then on the continuation bar, they're number 2 on the chart, you want to see a higher high and a higher close than the previous bar. You see this bar number 2, see how it made a higher high than number 1 here? Then it also closed higher than the high of bar 1. So it made a higher high and a higher close. That tells you that the up move that started with bar 1 has enough strength and power to continue. Now the third type of strong bar, the 50% bar, and I only have one example here on the chart, but we'll see more of them later. But when you see a bar in a given direction, for instance, this bar is down, but it didn't close 50% below the mid-range of the bar. So you look at the bar, the length of the bar, and 50% of that bar. If that bar is strong, it's going to at least close down past that 50% level of the bar. And when it does not, that is a strong bar, not a weak bar. That is a 50% bar. But now I just wanted to go over these briefly, but in the next section we're going to go over them in detail, and we're going to start off with the reverse thrust bar. Hello again. Now the first type of strong bar we're going to talk about is the reverse thrust bar. And the reverse thrust again makes a higher close after making a lower low. And I have some here at number 1 on the chart. Now when you think of an up thrust bar, think of a rocket. Think of price at this moment as a rocket. It's coming down, it's coming down, it's descending. Now, before you hit the bottom, if you want to stop and slow your descent, or ease your descent, or stop and reverse your descent, what do you say? You tell the co-pilot to hit the up thrust. And what happens? That up thrust throws out a tail, spits out a tail of smoke and fire, and the rocket slows before it hits the ground and eases back up. And that tail of smoke and fire represents the thrust, and the thrust is going down. So in order for a rocket to slow its descent, it must kick in the up thrust. Okay, so when we look at up thrust, we're going to say to ourselves, the market is strong. If I was thinking short, I'm no longer thinking short. Short is no longer an option. The market is now strong. So what I need to do is start looking for my long signals on whatever type of system I use, a moving average, a breakout, or whatever type. Okay, now I'm looking for a long signal on my intraday charts, because this is the 4-hour charts, and all the charts throughout this presentation are based on the 4-hour, and anytime I leave the 4-hour charts, I'll let you know. And here, prices, or the rocket is descending, descending, descending. Tried an up thrust here, tried it, didn't quite, couldn't maintain the thrust, comes back down. Here comes the secondary thrusters here, and now we have our real strength going. But when we get into how to verify the bars with the volume, price volume spread, situations like this, we will know how to handle, because and of course too, it all depends on where we are in the range of support and resistance. So, but there's more to it. We're just going through the basics now. Here we go again. We're falling, rockets falling, kicking the up thrust, but this time we took off. We weren't trying to just descend slowly and change our direction. We thrusted hard and we took off like a UFO. So bottom line, what that up thrust bar is telling you, I'm sorry, what that reverse thrust bar, the reverse thrust bar is telling you, is that at this point this market is coming under accumulation. At this point this market is coming under accumulation. This is rather obvious, but accumulation. the actual accumulation actually started here. And as we go forward, you will understand why. But so now you understand what a reverse thrust is. And if you start looking back on your charts at reverse thrusts, usually the market will continue after a reverse thrust up to the next support resistance level, or at the very minimum go up 1 or 2 bars and give you enough profit potential in the trade. And so next we're going to talk about the second type of strong bar, and the second type of strong bar is the continuation bar.